That's where we're one of the few companies that manufacture our own cameras for LPR, and we use them for parking and public safety. That's where our parking angle comes in.
Hello everyone and welcome to another Parking Network video. Today I'm joined by Michael from Genetec with some interesting news. Michael, thank you for joining.
Thanks for having me, Naj.
So, 25th anniversary for Genetec.
Yeah, it's a pretty exciting time for the company. We've been growing, doing well over the last 25 years. The company was founded by Pierre Raz, our current president, in 1997. And really his goal was to improve the day-to-day lives of our users. So really, we're a private company. We're founded we're at Montreal, our global headquarters. And we introduced a lot of new products that really changed the industry. So really, we first came out with Omnicast. It was the first over voice, video over IP, which is a big change in how video was stored. And then over the last couple of years, we also added in Synergist for access control and AutoView LPR cameras. And that's where we're one of the few companies that manufacture our own cameras for LPR, and we use them for parking and public safety. That's where our parking angle comes in.
Okay, so then what are the focuses currently for the company?
Well, really, we've always been focused on innovation, privacy, cybersecurity. Those are really tenets of how we grow things. Our three pillars, as I mentioned, are video, access control, and LPR. Really, we're about protecting the everyday for everyday citizens, and that involves being in over 159 countries with over 40,000 customers, growing as number one now in video VMS, and we're number two in access control. So those are really big levers for us in the industry, and we're in airports, restaurants, stores, public schools, all over in many different verticals. And really, the key to our growth has been our people, and that's what it's great being part of the wrecking crew, as we're called at Genetec.
So then, talking about the industry as a whole, what would you say has really shifted over the last years?
Well, I think COVID really changed a lot of things for a lot of industries. I think early on we were a bit concerned about how it would impact parking and government procurements, but it really didn't make a difference in the larger scheme of things. We did see a change in parking where in North America the market shifted to more to a gateless type, contactless, less cash, more payment apps. Really to make it simple, make the workflow simple and to make it contactless. And in Europe, we saw a push towards centralization in a sense, or in other words, an officer no longer would put a parking ticket on the windshield. That would be more done centrally, reviewed centrally, like they do for red light cameras or tolling, basically. That's really what we saw in Europe in terms of changes. And then a new thing that's come out recently is EV charging stations. So that's another challenge for there's different stations, different ways to read them, and not easy to enforce traditionally with an officer walking the beat.
Do you find that COVID really had a big impact both for Genetec and the industry as a whole for these changes to come by?
I think so. I think the first year parking pretty much ground to a standstill, like the airports and everywhere else. There wasn't a lot of enforcement being done. What people did though was they went back and they kind of give them a chance to reassess their business and say, "I'm always done it this way. Is this the way to go forward?" So a lot of changes we've seen in universities, how they enforce, how they do their permits, how they track people's usage, and in a work environment. Obviously we're all in a hybrid role now. I'm in the office 2 days a week, 3 days a week, depending on the week, and that's how a lot of industries are. So the need for parking has changed and evolved. So there's some days where you may be overloaded, and other days you may not be. There's also a way to look at metering that out, so leveling off demand and managing demand better. I think is what we're seeing as well in the corporate world of things.
You already hit on this a bit earlier with the differences with the North America and Europe. Do you find that the needs are really converging at the moment, especially after COVID?
Well, whatever happens in Europe, like fashion, jumps the pond eventually. So there is a slow adoption, I should say, or people looking at central enforcement or mailed citations as an option. It hasn't taken off like it has in Europe. I think there's a lot of resistance there to the change. There's concern about being too good at your job and generating too many tickets. So I think people are kind of hesitant about that. But I think if you message it correctly and you have the right objectives, I think you can be successful. The other part of that equation is legislation. In North America, a lot of states require that it mailed, so the citation is put on the windshield of a vehicle, and that doesn't bode well for central enforcement. So that's what we saw. One other trend I didn't mention earlier on, though, is we did do a project with some large sports venues, and they're going, as I mentioned earlier, gateless. So they're going further than that. They're going gateless and post-pay. So we had a large project with the Miami Marlins Stadium, and they basically moved all their gates, all their agents, and you drive in, you park, and you prepay before, or you pay at the day, or you pay in the evening. But that really was a big change for them, and that's another potential trend we're seeing in parking, where we're moving away that friction in the process to make the experience faster. Because, I mean, anywhere you're going somewhere, one of the first things ever having your destination is finding parking, and you have a bad experience, so then you tell your friend. So that's and it changes your whole mood in terms of your experience. So I think having a good frictionless parking experience is important for cities as well as many venues, right?
That's quite interesting. So do you find that there's been good response from customers for the seamless parking solutions, and also the parking operators or the venues in the end?
Well, the frictionless or gateless approach is definitely growing a lot in North America. In Europe, I have seen not much uptake at all. To be honest, I think it's really it's the way things are for the time being. It may change. In terms of the large venues, we did a very successful pilot with the Miami Marlins. So far, we're just talking to a lot of people and educating them on this approach. I think they wanted to see. It was done just before the end of the season, so we had a little bit of data. It was still too soon to see how it would grow, but I think that now we'll get more data, and we'll be able to show people, showcase this opportunity as a way maybe to improve and streamline their operations.
So Michael,
can
you tell me a bit?
Overall model of protecting the everyday. So we see that as parking, safety on the streets, safety in the venues, access control, all those elements combined are part of our motto of protecting the everyday.
Can you tell me a bit then about the future of Genetec?
Well, I think we're going to continue to grow in those verticals and find new ways. I think the big opportunity for a lot of companies now is all this data. We're getting data from cameras and sensors, and how do you use that data and make it meaningful? I think that's one big trend. The other one, I think, an opportunity for us as a company. I think also moving to the cloud. I think and moving to a hardware as a service model where you don't necessarily buy the hardware, right? You may just lease it in a sense. I think those are opportunities we're seeing. People changing how they do business with us, and we're also as a company looking to reduce the friction in all these processes, making it a more successful customer journey. So by the time they buy, and we want to make sure that they buy the product, they use it the right way, and we're trying to work very hard to make that a very seamless experience.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, Michael, for joining today. It was a pleasure. And wish Genetec continued success.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, everyone, for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. We'll catch you again next time.